And if that shiver on the nape of the neck, that whisper in the silence, were not a sign of fear, but of protection. Imagine feeling, in the midst of a crisis, an inexplicable calm, as if an invisible hand pushed away the panic. Spiritism, through the works of Allan Kardec, reveals that many of the phenomena we attribute to ghosts are in fact bonds of love that death could not break. Familiar spirits can choose to stay close, not to haunt, but to guard. But how to know if this presence is real or just a wish of our heart? The answer is in the most subtle details.
So, who would these invisible protectors be? The first image that comes to mind is that of the loving grandmother, the courageous father, the sister who always defended us. And you are right. The Spiritist doctrine, built on the basis of thousands of reports and meticulous studies initiated by Allan Kardec in the 19th century, shows us that the purest bonds of affection are precisely those that resist the most the transition we call death.
Think about it. When someone we love deeply passes away, does the love simply disappear? Spiritism responds with a resounding no. That love is a real energy, the most powerful that exists, and it cannot be destroyed. In the book The Heaven and Hell, also by Kardec, the spirits explain that those who have departed retain full awareness of who they are and who they loved. And more than that, they have the ability often to choose a new mission. Here's the point that changes everything. A family spirit that stays nearby is not a lost soul trapped in suffering in limbo. This is an old view, which the Spiritism came precisely to clarify. In fact, it is the opposite. It is a soul that, finding itself in a plane of greater lucidity, makes a request based on service and unconditional love. It asks, before the spiritual laws that govern this new existence, permission to be a support, a discreet protection for those who remained in the physical world. Imagine a mother who, in her life, dedicated all of her existence to her children. Will, at the moment of her passing, this protective instinct, this giant force, simply disappear? Spiritism suggests that it does not only not disappear, but can be refined. Freed from the limitations of the body, this love can become an active force of vigilance and inspiration. She is not there by chance or by accident. She is there by decision, by vocation. And this extends to all types of bond. It can be the grandfather who was always the family advisor and who now, silently, tries to inspire good advice in moments of doubt. It can be the brother who died too young and who feels a deep desire to care for the nephews he never knew in life. The motivation is always the same, affection that turned into a mission. But this leads us to a deep and inevitable questioning. If they are here, by our side, acting as guardians, how does this action manifest in our concrete daily life? How can a spiritual energy, however loving, interact with our physical world, with our choices, with our dangers? Do there exist signs, clues left by them that we can learn to identify? Or is their protection so subtle that it goes completely unnoticed, like a guardian angel from ancient stories? The truth is that the accounts are many and impressive, and they point to small everyday miracles that most of us ignore or simply attribute to luck. Now we turn to what may be the most fascinating part of all this story, how this silent protection reveals itself to us. Because do not expect scenes from a movie with objects flying or deep voices echoing. The communication of family spirits, according to numerous reports collected in Spiritist centers and studies such as those by researcher Herminio Miranda, is a language of subtleties, an intimate conversation made of feelings and significant coincidences. Think about the last time you were in a moment of deep anguish, those that seemed to have no way out, and suddenly a vivid and tranquil memory of the person who passed away invaded your mind, bringing immediate comfort. Or you are making a difficult decision, and a crystal clear intuition, which seems to come from a very deep place, gives you the right answer. These are the threads of connection. Often, the mechanism used is inspiration. They act on our thinking, on our intuition, planting ideas, warnings, or consolations directly into our minds.
That is why the feeling is that it came from nothing, but it came with a clarity and a precision that surprises us.
And the dreams? The dreams are a separate chapter. Different from common dreams, confused and symbolic, these dream encounters have a different quality. The person appears with clarity, the environment is sharp, and the feeling upon waking is not one of strangeness, but of a deep peace, as if we have received a real visit. Often in these occasions, we receive a direct message, a felt embrace, or simply the confirmation that they are well. It is in the territory of dreams that the barrier between the planes becomes more tenuous, allowing for a more direct contact.
But they can also use their senses. It's that characteristic perfume that arises from nowhere, the smell of the coffee your grandmother always made, the aroma of the soap your father used. It's a specific song that plays on the radio exactly when you're thinking about it most. They are small signs in the physical world, called light physical effect phenomena, that serve as a touch to alert us or simply to tell us, I am here. An object that falls without apparent reason, calling your attention to something important that was forgotten. A blinking light. These are the resources they have to gently whisper in our spiritual ear.
However, all of this puts us before a crucial and somewhat delicate dilemma. In a world where our mind can create memories and our desire can be very strong, how can we be absolutely certain that that perfume was not just a memory, or that intuition was not just our own instinct? How can we distinguish a true manifestation of love from a familiar spirit, from a simple projection of our own desires? And considering that the spiritual plan is vast and complex, how can we have the security that we are really connecting with those we love and not with any other influence whatsoever? The line between genuine spiritual perception and imagination can be tenuous, and it is there that discernment comes in, the most important tool that any of us can develop. And it is precisely there, in this search for certainty, that we find the most reliable compass of all, the quality of feeling that these experiences bring us. Allan Kardec, in the Book of Mediums, is incisive. The fundamental criterion for discerning the origin of a spiritual influence is its moral content. A family spirit that comes to protect radiates only peace, serenity, and an elevation that calms the soul. The sensation is of lightness, like a warm embrace that dissolves anxiety. It is a contact that builds, that strengthens, that leaves a trail of hope. In contrast, any influence that brings agitation, paralyzing fear, mental confusion, or obsessive and negative thoughts does not come from a protector. The superior spirits teach us that true protection absolutely respects our free will. They do not command, they do not haunt, they do not demand. They inspire. And the most powerful tool we have to tune into that good influence and ward off anything else is sincere prayer. When you sense a presence, elevate your thought. Make a mental prayer for that spirit and for yourself. Prayer acts as a frequency filter. If it is a loved one, the bond of peace will strengthen. If it is something else, it will move away, because it does not vibrate on the same frequency of pure love. Therefore, the next time their memory comes with a sudden comfort, or a subtle sign arises at the exact moment, take a deep breath and feel. Do not be afraid to believe that love is stronger than death. Legitimate spiritual protection does not need grand gestures. It is discreet, constant, and as real as the bond we once built. It is the most peaceful proof that the ties that truly matter never break, and that on the other side, those who love us continue to root for us, now from a place where the vision is clearer and the heart even greater.